Good evening, welcome back. Thank you for your patience. Birshus, and with the permission of friends old and new, we continue in our journey in Pirkei Avot. Rabbi ben Akana says, "Kol hamekabel olav Torah." Anybody who acquires upon themselves the yoke of Torah, ma'avirim mimenu malchus, v'ol derech eretz, removes from them the yoke of kingship and the yoke of derech eretz. V'chol haporik mimenu Torah. And anybody who throws off the yoke of Torah, we place upon them the yoke of kingship and derech eretz. Rabbi ben Akana was a contemporary of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Rabbi, and at the height of Roman persecution, despite the purges of Jewish scholars, Rabbi Nechunya merited a long life. In his dotage, in his old days, his Talmidim came to him and told, and the following is revealed in the Gemara in Megillah. Shalu Talmidim es Rabbi Nechunya ben Nakana. His Talmidim asked him the following question: B'ma harachta yomim? With what did you merit old age? Amar lahem, he said to them, Mi yomai l'neschabti b'kilon chaverai. I never took honor from the shame of my friends. Also, mitasi klalas chaverai vivasrum b'memoni hayisi. I never derived honor from the shame of my fellow man, nor has my fellow curse accompanied me to my bed, and I was very liberal with my money. B'ma herachta yomim? With what did you merit old age? Rabbi, my father, gave the following story. When my father was a rabbi in Melbourne, the Morida Asra of the Mizrahi Kehila in Melbourne, Australia, there was a party, there was a wedding that took place in the shul. And as my father was at the party and at the wedding, he decided to go back into the shul after some of the celebration, and there he found a very old man, the grandfather, the great-grandfather of the chassan. And my father knew that this man, not just an old man, he had just celebrated his 101st birthday. And my father asked him, B'ma erachta yamim? With what did you merit this old age? And the old man told my father, as he was sitting alone in shul, as everybody was celebrating in the other room, B'ma erachta yamim? With what did I merit old age? He says, I will tell you, I was a young boy in a town called Radin. And there, a wedding was taking place that day. And I was playing in the streets and playing at the chasana. And I decided to run inside to the shul. And when I ran inside to the shul, there I found an old man sitting alone. And I went over to the old man, and I said to the old man, Rabbi, let me come and help escort you out to the party, to the chasana. And the old man said to me, let me give you a bracha of an old man, that you should be zoicha, because you gave honor to this old man, that you should live to a ripe old age. The old man was none other than the Chafetz Chaim. And my father and the old man then walked back together into the party. Rabbi Nechunya ben Akana was the Rebbe of Rabbi Yishmael ben Elisha. Maybe some of you know the song, maybe some of you don't know the song. It's a Gemara in Brachas. Amar Rabbi Yishmael ben Elisha, Pamachas nichnasti laktir ketoiras lifnai v'lifnim v'roisi akasrikel ko Hashem tzvokos Al Kiseiram v'nisam. Who was this Rabbi Yishmael ben Elisha? The very same individual who ascended to Shamayim to ascertain whether the Bezdin Shalmaila directed and decreed the death penalty on the Asura Haruge Malchus. Of mystical Yiddishkeit in Judaism, Reb Nechunya ben Akane is considered the progenitor because in him was written the earliest work of Kabbalah, the Sefer HaBahir, which is attributable to him. Because the Sefer begins, Amar Rabbi Nechunya ben Akane. The Chidah, Rav Chaim Yosef David Azulai, the author of the glass on the Pirkei Yosef on Shulchan Aruch, commented, Rabbi Nechunya ben Akane Rosh HaMekablim. He's the head of all of the mystics, all of the great Mekubalim. The Achorov, and after him comes Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Nechunya's learning was so sincere that the Gemara in Brachas tells us the following. Rabbi Nechunya ben Akane he used to daven when he came into the Beis Medrash. And when he left. Tefillah Kitzora, a very short tefillah. Amru lo, they said to him, Ma makom letefillah zo. What is the place for this tefillah? Amr lahem, he said to them, B'chnisasi ani mispal, I daven when I come in, shelo ye'ava davatakalah ayodi, that no one should falter in any of my words because I said a word of Torah. U'b'yitziaso ani noisein hoido al chalki, and when I leave the Beis Medrash, I daven and I say thank you to Hashem on my portion in this world. What were the real tefillahs? Rav Nechunya ben Akane, you may be a little familiar with them, Rabbi Isai. In Ovis, the Rabbi Nosson tells us the following. Upon entering the Beis Medrash, Rav Nechunya ben Akane was accustomed to say the following. Like we just mentioned, and that I do not falter in a word of halacha, and that all of my friends should be happy with me, and I should not say on something which is pure that it's really impure, and I too should be happy in them. And when he left the Beis Medrash, what did he say? Moidani lebenachashem lakai shesamta chelki miyoshvei Beis Medrash v'lo shamta chelki miyoshvei Kronos. She'ani mashkim, that I get up, ve'hem mashkim, and then getting up. Ani mashkim l'divrei Torah, I'm getting up to go learn Torah. Ve'hem mashkim l'divrei Teilim, and they're going for mundane matters. Ani omel ve'hem amelim. I'm striving for something and they're striving for something. I strive and I'm getting a reward. They're striving for something and they're not going to get any rewards. They'll really get the just rewards. This very same tefillah we say when we finish a Masechta, we finish Mishnah, we make a siyum on Torah. Let's come back to our Mishnah. The Mishnah records 3 yokes. Al Torah, self-explanatory. Al Malchus, governments, laws, society, and taxes. And Al Derech Eretz. Derech Eretz, Parnasa, work and livelihood. What's a yoke? What's an ol? A wooden crosspiece fastened to the neck. It's a heavy burden, and it goes against the strain of nature. So what is nature and what is natural? Because the nature of an individual is wicked from his very earliest days. What is nature to man? A man is born to work. And what is nature? That you should strive and work in Torah. And to what extent is the work and the labor of Torah, the yoke of Torah? And as I've mentioned several times before, this is the path. This is the path of Torah. What? Adam ki yamus ba'ohel. A man, he should die in the tent. One who is makabel Torah, one who accepts upon himself the yoke of Torah. He's cast off from himself the old malchus and the old derech eretz, the yoke of kingdom and government and laws, and the yoke of a livelihood. His faith is in Hashem, which is total and complete. His trust, his bitochen, his belief are categorical and definite. But what is trust? That people blithely follow it in their faith in Hashem. Baruch Hashem, Chazdei Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Oh, du hast bitochen in the Rebbeinu Shalom, bitochen. So what is bitochen? Faith. So my father was very fond, Rav Yaakov Simcha Zatzal was very fond of quoting the Vilna Gaon on this. In commenting on the phraseology of bitochen, the Vilna Gaon said the following, quoting from a passage we recite every Rosh Chodesh and Hala. Tov lachsus b'Hashem mibtoach b'bnei Adam. Better it is to put your faith in God than to put your faith in man. So what's the difference between the language of Tov lachsos, chisayon, and the distinction with bitachon, mibtoach b'bnei Adam? So the Cohen says that bitachon is simply a promise. It's a promise and a hope that the promise will be fulfilled. I hope. Chisayon, on the other hand, it's andere Sache, gamre. It's completely different. It's a different animal. It's on a different planar of existence. Because Tov lachsus b'Hashem chisayon, as opposed to bitochen, is that even without a commitment, even without a promise, even without a shvuah whatsoever, there is utter 100% guarantee of fulfillment. If God promises you something, it will be fulfilled. Tov lachsus b'Hashem mibtoach b'bnei Adam. All Torah, the Mishnah says, the yoke of Torah. Mahi, what is it? So the Gemara in Brachas Daf Samach Gimel tells us the following. Oh, Rabbi Yanai says, "My dechsiv, why is it written? Or what does it mean? Chol of yotzi chema." Oh, the churning of milk brings forth butter. Umitz af yotzei dam, and the wringing of a nose brings forth strife. B'miata motzi chema shel Torah. In whom do you find the butter, the sweet butter of Torah? B'mi shemaki chelev shiyanek mishtei imo, in he who spits out the milk of his mother. Now, Rabbi say it's very interesting because this Gemara calls for a deep explanation. Rav Avram Yitzchak HaKohen Cook interprets this Gemara as a message to all educators and pedagogues. Many educators conceive of their job as the constant attempt to make learning easier. They think that the goal of education is to create a learning environment that enables achievement with minimum toil and effort. The nursing baby image needs no exertion to attain a good meal. There is no personal or educational greatness without the ability to persevere in the face of difficulty. All Torah, the yoke of Torah, is the hard-won insight that bears retelling. Only the intense effort experimented enables, and I dare say ennobles, the student. Soren Kierkegaard, that turn of the century, not the 20th century, not the 21st century. Epistle comes to mind. And he said as follows: "Far be it from me to speak disparagingly of the comfortable. Let it be applied whenever it can be applied, so that one can have it either in this way or in the other. For when such is the case, the convenient and comfortable way is undeniably preferred. Take water, for example. Water can be produced and procured the difficult way of fetching it up from the well, but it can also be procured in the convenient way of high pressure through the faucet. Naturally, I prefer the more convenient way. But Rabbi say, the eternal is not a thing which can be had comfortably and conveniently. No. The eternal is acquired in the way, in the derech, ala Torah. You are meilim b'Torah. You have to toil in Torah. You have to strive in Torah. Odom ki yamus ba'oil. You've got to die. You've got to suffer within the tent. Torah niknes b'mi shememi salel. Torah is only acquired with whom and those who kill themselves over it. Rabbi say, the beginning of our Mishnah, the Reisha says, Kol makabel alav ol Torah. Anybody who acquires for themselves the yoke of Torah. But the Sefer, the end of the Mishnah, what does it say? Kol hapoirek mimeno. Anybody who removes from themselves the yoke of Torah. So it's the distinction between Kabbalah and Parka. Porek. Kabbalah is acceptance and a voluntary consent. To this person, the old Torah is a labor of love. The Porek, he casts it off as a rejection. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, Daf Tzamech Gimel, discussing Mashiach, offers this opinion of Rabbi Alexander, interpreting a verse from Yeshayahu. V'lo lemarainav yishpot, v'lo lemishma oznov yochiach. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither decide after hearing of his ears. Amar Rabbi Alexander, melamed she'etino mitzvos v'yisuyim kerechayim. Mashiach is burdened and laden down with mitzvahs and suffering as a heavy millstone. Notice the terminology of Rabbi Alexander. Kirechaim, like a millstone. The word rechaim, whose source is reach, smell and odor, is translated by Rabbi Alexander as millstone. He is emphasizing not the sense of smell, but rather the tactile sense, the sensitivity to weight. Moshiach will find that his good deeds and his suffering are both as heavy as millstones. The Torah does not come easy, even to Moshiach. Ol Malchus Shamayim, the yoke of heaven. Rabbi Sai, my father said honey is sweet to any normal, healthy individual, but if one is sick, even honey can taste bitter. So if Torah appears bitter, anybody who casts off the yoke of Torah, it is a symptom of malaise and a sickness. But if it is sweet, if it's so sweet, then it is cherished and welcomed and accepted. Hamekabel ol Torah. Today, those who want easy salvation can get it very cheaply indeed. Oriental religions, Christianity, or any of the other cults will promise, with no effort at all, the sun and the moon, and even Reverend Moon. But the Jew of seriousness, is not looking for an easy way out. Those who have any reach, they got a tam of Gan Eden, any at all. They have a sense of discrimination. They have a refined intuition. They're looking for a rechaim, for millstones. The Rambam commenting raises before our eyes the luchos habris, which were the work of God. V'haluchos maisi elokim hema. They were the work, the fashion of God himself. V'hamichtav michtav elokim hi. And the writings, they were the writings of God. Chorus ala luchos, carved into the stones. Al tikre chorus, don't read it that they were carved in. Ela cherus, she'en lecha ben chorin ela mi she'asa b'tam Torah. People, if they see the Torah as simply stones, it's a millstone, then it's a weight, it's a burden. But if you read cherus, the carving in the stones, the etchings, not as charus of the stones and its weight, but rather cherus, freedom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has granted us freedom through the Torah. Then that it's hamekabel love all Torah, acceptance and a voluntary love of the yoke of Torah. The Medrash Shmuel tells us, Rabbi, this Mishnah is discussing two very different people. On the one hand, hamekabel all, every day he strives to acquire more. The Kabbalah of yesterday is insufficient. The Porek is the antithesis. Who needs religion? Who needs conformity and compliance? Let's join Antifa. Let's be an anarchist. Chaos rule. Who cares about halacha? Who needs the institution of Torah? Who needs the dogmatic religions of old and yesteryear? Who needs rules? This is the person who casts off the yoke of Torah. It's a burden. The basic belief of the Jew is the acceptance of Malchus Shamayim, of O Malchus Shamayim, namely the acceptance of the heavenly yoke. It's called a yoke, a harness. This teaches us that there may be times when Torah may not be convenient. It may be uncomfortable. It may feel like a yoke. Yet we are all still required to observe its dictates, even when it's difficult. According to Professor Josiah Royce, late 19th and early 20th century philosopher who attempted to reconcile evolutionary theory with religion, he brings a parable in his book, The Philosophy of Loyalty. In England, in the House of Commons, the House has jurisdiction exclusively over its own affairs. During the reign of King Charles I, he desired to have several members of the House arrested. The king sent messages to the House to have the men arrested. The Speaker of the House put the king's request to a vote, and the House soundly rejected the king's request. Word of the vote was sent back to the king that the request was summarily rejected. The king's response was swift. With mounted soldiers, the house was surrounded, and entering the house with his retinue of soldiers, the king mounted the speaker's desk and said, "Mr. Speaker, I order you to arrest the three members you now see before you." Again, the speaker put the matter and the question before the House of Commons to decide, and again, the king's rejection in the face of soldiers with their pikes and swords drawn was denied. Falling on his knees, the speaker proclaimed, "Your Majesty, as a member of the House of Commons, I have neither eyes to see these men, nor tongue to speak your order, save as the House directs." My father, Harav Yaakov Simcha Cohen, says the following: so too in Jewry and Yiddishkeit. Our ethical and moral duty as Jews who wish and want to express loyalty and devotion to Hashem, to Torah and mitzvahs, is that we neither have eyes to see nor tongue to speak, save as the house of Israel directs us. We may see difficulties and obstacles and perceived burdens, but we may not depart from the Jewish constitution, the Torah, the Talmud, and the Shulchan Aruch. Harei ani kabel alai o malchus shamayim, harei ani mekabel alai ol Torah. Thank you for joining me tonight. Good night.